Well, hey there, guys. Dr. Lisa Faast here, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the most important job of a CEO. And it doesn't matter if you're the CEO of your pharmacy, which if you're a pharmacy owner, you are, or if you're the CEO of a multinational billion-dollar corporation. The main job, like the reason that you have the big title and the big responsibility, a lot of people think about if I were to ask you, like, what's the most important job of a CEO? And a lot of people say hiring or firing or strategic vision or, those kinds of things. And all of that is yes, but from owning multiple businesses and multiple pharmacies, in particularly with pharmacies, but I found it to be true across no matter what type of business you're doing. I think the most important job of you, the person that's sitting at the top of the org chart, if you will, the owner of the business, is the biggest job, the hardest job comes down to prioritization. And you're like, that's not what I thought you were going to say. It sounds easy. Prioritization sounds easy, but it's actually really, really hard. And if you find yourself struggling in leading your pharmacy, trying to figure out the way forward, it really is a prioritization problem. And I think when you reframe it like that, it helps to start to understand what you need to do. There's only time to do one thing at a time, right? You can multiply those number of one things by having employees and things like that. That's why you just don't run your pharmacy by yourself, right? Because you would be tapped out. There's only so much that you can do. And so, but you got to think of it the same way as your business. Yes, there's micro little things happening all the time. You're ringing up, you have two registers and two people are being rang up at each register. But guess what? Only one person can be rang up at the register at a time, right? So it doesn't matter how micro you get or how macro you get, your business can only be focusing on one thing. And so your job as the leader is prioritization, like brutal prioritization. The people that I know that are most successful, the most successful pharmacy owners, the most successful entrepreneurs, they are ruthless when it comes to prioritization. When something matters, when one thing matters, nothing else matters, right? Like it really truly is learning how to say no. And when you say no, the important thing, I think this is what happens with pharmacy owners, and this is just from my own experience and just obviously basically growing up as an adult in pharmacy ownership, is we feel like when we say no, that it means no for forever. And I've learned that, it doesn't actually mean that. But in the moment, I think the emotional part that comes with decision making, it feels like if you're saying no to something, that you're saying no to it forever. But really what I've learned is just no, not right now. And sometimes you have to say no to good things in order to say yes to great things. Sometimes you have to say no to great things to say yes to super awesome, amazing, once in a lifetime things. I've had a lot of conversations with pharmacy owners lately between like our inner circle program and talking with pharmacy owners at the summit that we had, gosh, a month ago now. And man, they're just bouncing all over. It's like a pinball machine. Like, the ball's just bouncing all over and they're just looking here, looking here, looking here. And you're not moving anywhere. And it's the whole analogy of a hamster on a wheel, right? Like you're doing a whole lot of moving, but you're not actually making any progress. And that's because you're trying to do too much at one time. You have to prioritize and ruthlessly prioritize. And not just for yourself, for you individually, like what am I going to work on today and accomplish today? You have to do it for your employees. You have to do it for your business as your strategic vision. That is the tough job. It truly, truly is. And it sounds simple, but most things in life, just because it's simple, doesn't mean it's easy. And prioritization is really simple. What's top of the list, everything below the list, it doesn't matter. This is actually one of the things that I'm going to be teaching. I'm looking for my little cards. Oh, here they are. So I'll show the back of my cards here, but imagine you have a stack of cards, right? And on this stack of cards is all the things that you want to do, right? All the things you want to do, whether it's a business, life, whatever. But when you put them in a stack, you only see one thing at the top, right? That's it. You can only see one thing. You can't see what number 2 is, right? Like you can't see it. So this is CEO in a nutshell. you got to focus on this. And the only way to get through this is to do it. And then so you can flip the card and do the next thing, right? And so it sounds simple, but if you want to become an uber successful pharmacy owner, which I truly believe every single pharmacy owner can be as successful as you want to be. Some of you are super ambitious like I am, and you're like, I want to own the world and rule the world. Some of you aren't, and that's okay. But whatever success looks like to you, if you want to reach success, you have to prioritize. You can only be focusing on one thing at a time. And sometimes number 2 and number 3 are really good ideas. Like they're great ideas. Like one of our members, they want to start doing cash revenues. They want to do weight loss. They want to do vitamins. They want to do their over-the-counter section. They want to do 503Bs. All of those are fantastic programs, every single one. But if every time I talk to them, they're on to something new, they're just going to be the hamster on the wheel, and they're never going to go forward. So my recommendation to you, if you're listening to this video and you're either a pharmacy owner, maybe you're a manager, maybe you're not in pharmacy and you just found my video somehow, but you're in charge of leading success, even if it's just you personally, like this applies whether it's, business or personal, you have to be ruthlessly prioritizing everything. What is the one thing I need to do right now to move my business forward? What is the one thing? One thing. That's it. You can only really work on one thing. Now, I am a lover of like multitasking when they're like brainless multitasks. I'm female. Sorry for you males out there. You can't multitask. I understand it's a female benefit, but I love multitasking. We're not talking about like, listening to a podcast and, writing checks and paying bills. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about grandeur, prioritization, and goals. Like you can really only be running after one big goal at a time. If you try to do too many, you're just going to divide your attention. You're going to confuse your employees. You're going to confuse your audience being your customers, your patients, the people who are receiving your messages that you obviously want them to go buy stuff from you. You're going to confuse them, and nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to go anywhere. So figure out the one thing. And the really cool thing, I've talked this a lot with members. If you followed me for a while, like I talk about the profit lasagna. Like, when you make a lasagna, even if you don't like lasagna, many of you know, like there's ingredients in there, right? There's the pasta, the cheese, the sauce, maybe meat, whatever you're putting in there. But if you threw all those ingredients in a pan just all together, that doesn't make a lasagna. It makes something, but it's not a lasagna, right? So the whole point of a lasagna is it's layered, right? There's very distinct layers. When you cut into it, there's very distinct layers. So you have to lay down the first layer first. Then you layer on top of it. So when you prioritize, you're getting the one thing and you're taking it to completion or implementation. But that doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're ever doing in your pharmacy for forevermore. It's then once you have that foundation done, then you layer on top of it. And then you layer on top of it. A lot of times people ask me like, how was I so successful in my pharmacies? How I've been so successful in other businesses? That's it. That's the secret that I've discovered is doing one thing and focusing on that one thing until it is implemented or done, like depending on the thing. Sometimes it's an ongoing thing. Sometimes it's just a one-time project. But then you move on to the next thing. And then the next thing. And I can implement a whole lot in a very short amount of time because I put all my energy into one. It's like being laser focused. That's why they call it laser focused, right? The tinier a laser is, the more powerful it is. And so, but if I try to do those 10 things at once, I'm frankly not going to get anywhere. Like you have to be focused. So my goal to you today is start prioritizing. You're going to have to say no to some things. And sometimes it's okay to let some fires burn. I know in pharmacy, because it's healthcare, I think in particular, any type of problem, it's like, oh gosh, like we can't have any sort of problem. Like let's fix that. And it becomes a 3-alarm fire. Now, granted, there are certain things that are 3-alarm fires in healthcare and in pharmacy, but not everything. If there's a typo on a sign that your technician made, it's okay. Honestly, it might grab more attention with the typo on there than not. Like not everything is worth your attention. And so it's your job to ruthlessly prioritize your attention, ruthlessly prioritize your employees' attention, and ruthlessly prioritize your customers / patients' attention. If you throw 10 products at them, you're not going to sell anything. You throw one thing at them, very well, you'll get a lot of sales on that one thing. And that doesn't mean that you can't sell them other things. It actually makes it more likely that they'll buy the next thing that you recommend to them. So that's what I want you to think about today. Think about being laser focused. Think about all the things you can say no to, at least no for right now, and think of the one thing that you're going to say yes to, and commit to that. Commit to that one thing. Don't get distracted. Shiny object syndrome is not allowed. Ban shiny object syndrome from your CEO world. And even if you have to do this little physical exercise, get some index cards, write your things on here and put them in a list, and then you stack them up and you can only see the one thing on top. And that's all you focus on until that is done, right? And then you go to the next thing and then the next. And before you know it, you're going to get through a lot of stuff, probably a lot faster than you were before. So I invite you to share what your one thing is. If you want to post it in the comments, I'd love to hear what your one thing is. And then when you finish that one thing, come back and tell us what your next one thing is. But I've seen this absolutely transform pharmacy owners. Like I said, I've been working with the pharmacy owners in our GSD program and our Inner Circle program. And this has really been a big focus because it is, I'll say it's the easiest way to get forward movement in the business of pharmacy than just about anything else. So if you're not sure what your one thing should be, sign up, become members. Happy to chat with you about, right now, yes, there is a lot of crap in our industry, but there's also a ton of opportunity, guys. This is the year of offense that I've said, like, it's time to go forth and, make your stand. We've been playing defense for so long. So if you need any help at all, put them in the comments, reach out to us. We're here to help you have an awesome pharmacy that you love owning and actually serves you and serves your patients well. So tell me what your one thing is. I'd love to hear it. And until next time, bye guys.